Jung Lim. I'm a senior manager of Open Data Planning Team, the National Information Society Agency in Republic of Korea. So as we all know, a number of countries are exerting much efforts fighting against COVID-19, and data played a crucial role in responding to flatten the curve of COVID-19. So in this context, I would like to give a presentation on how Korea has responded to pandemic COVID-19 by utilizing open government data. So this training will focus on how Korea has responded to COVID-19 by releasing and utilizing open data. So throughout the training course, participants would have an idea on which open data Korea have been released and how private sector utilized the open data, developing related apps and webs accordingly. So the course begins with the introduction to open data. Then we will cover release of COVID-19 open data through data portal and process for releasing sales of mask data and apps and web services developed to responding to COVID-19. And lastly, but definitely not the least, the role of public sector as enabler. So the course objectives are to build knowledge on the types of open data released by Korean government in a variety of areas responding to COVID-19, and share actual cases of data-driven apps and web services developed by private sector utilizing the open data, and to build understanding of roles of government as enabler for promoting public-private partnership, what we call PPP, responding to COVID-19. So open data basically refers to data created and retained by the government and municipal organizations and public organizations that is available to the public. So moreover, data can be combined together for its reuse and redistribution. So in order to proactively publish open data and to create new business opportunities by processing and analyzing the disclosed open data, the Korean government enacted the Open Data Law in 2013 and has been implementing a variety of policies ever since. Now, let us look at the governance framework of Korea that supports policymaking and implementation. So Korean government has founded what we call Open Data Strategy Council. So it stands for ODSC. And it actually deliberate, coordinate, monitor, and evaluate government's major open data policies, plans, and their implementations. The co-chairmen of ODSC are the Prime Minister of Korean government and one representative from private sector. So the council includes a ministry of each ministry, and more than half of its members are from private sector as well. And now let us look at the Ministry of the Interior and Safety, so which is the leading ministry for open government data. So Ministry of Interior and Safety develop open government data strategy, which is a national data plan, in every 3 years. So the Ministry of Interior and Safety also monitors central and local government and public institutions for their implementations on data strategy and its action plan. In addition, our Ministry of Interior Safety manage releasing open data, data quality, open data management guidelines, and evaluation of open data implementation studies, and chief data officers for all central local governments and public institutions. And now let us move to the National Information Society Agency. So it stands for NIA. So NIA is responsible for releasing open data and promoting reuse of open data. So Open Data Center is within NIA and supporting efficient release of open government data. And also it promotes its reuse and in public and private sector. And meanwhile, in order to increase public accessibility of open data, the Open Data Mediation Committee has been established to mediate disputes for release of open government data. So users can actually resolve their open data related issues through a simple arbitration procedures. So government of Korea has been releasing data produced by ministries and public institutions of Korea as what we call issue data via National Data Portal. So National Data Portal as data.go.kr is a consolidated platform that provides open data created or collected by government and public institutions. So Data Portal actually offers data in a variety of formats, for instance, like file data and open API and visual materials to ensure the general public can use public information in an easy and convenient manner. So key data sets released by Korean government related to COVID-19 can be categorized into 4 areas. So first, data of overview, study of COVID-19, and second, mask sales data, and third, public welfare support, and lastly, daily life. So data sets of overview studies of COVID-19 include regional studies of COVID-19 segmented by age, area, and sex. Additionally, data sets of screening centers and national security hospitals are also provided in the National Data Portal. So National Security Hospital that separates the treatment of respiratory and non-respiratory patients to prevent infections in the hospital. And mask data is provided to service developers through API by segmenting information of mask sellers and inventory studies. And public welfare support data is also provided in the portal. So this data provides a comprehensive summary of economic support for citizens and businesses that were hardly hit by the COVID-19. And lastly, the data life data provides useful information to people who have been affected daily, such as studying due to the movement restrictions. And data sets include e-learning contents and public open courses of universities and lifelong education courses and safety information of countries as well. So it is a crucial role for government to provide information as data. Then private can use and utilize the data to develop useful services for citizens in a short amount of time. And now let us look at the detailed process of releasing mask sales data. So Health Insurance Review and Assessment Service, known as HIRA, where deals with the national health insurance system in Korea. So they relay the mask sales data, which contains the code of designated sellers, and quantity of warehousing, and number of mask sales to National Information Society Agency, NIA. Then, NIA repackaged the data with adding inventory segmentation with displaying masks available using 4 different colors and address-based latitude and longitude coordinated conversion. Then, NIA provided as an open API format via Naver Cloud, which is the largest search engine in Korea. And in here, cloud businesses such as KT, Coscom, NHN, and BP provide data API server and development environment for programming for stable services to run. So this is to solve traffic problems that might have caused due to public's great attentions and private portals such as Naver, Kakao with civic hackers, startups, a community of engineers, and private sector were able to develop a variety of mass services so quickly by API that we have provided. So far, about 150 apps and web services have been developed. This is a successful public-private partnership, PPP case, where all stakeholders have participated from the very beginning of the stage. Thus, we're able to fully leverage the capacity of private sectors that has. So in Korea, we sell public masks through designated sellers, which are pharmacists, post offices, and marts. So we match information of sales and location of designated sellers and provided those information to the private sector as API format that I have mentioned in the previous slide. And private service providers mark this onto a map. So it is shown as color green, yellow, red, and gray, depending on the sales quantity and circumstances of sales prices. Initially, there was actually an upsurge in prices due to the absolute lack of supply and long queues for purchases and the burden of additional work to the seller. However, since the launch of the mass map services, those problems had gradually stabilized, reducing civil complaints from both citizens and sellers, since citizens could check real-time inventory stocks of mass sales data throughout the webs or web services. And self-diagnosis app is developed by private sector using symptom data of COVID-19 of confirmed patients. So this app presents patient severity based on basic informations, symptoms, and medical histories that users put in the apps. So app basically tells the users if he or she has to be screened for testing. So it was a way effective in reducing the unnecessary tests, recasts, and checking for infection by simply providing information to the citizen who are anxious with a fear of COVID-19. So another one is that use the data of screening centers and national security hospitals. So screening centers are places where citizens get tested for COVID-19. And national security hospitals are that manages respiratory patients separately to contain virus from spreading. So government has provided the list of screening centers and national hospitals daily in CSV format. Then developers mark this data on the map with the information they already have. So citizens can easily find operating screening centers nearby and get tested so quickly. And the following is an example of citizens' voluntary use of open data. So the first one is a data set uploaded to Kaggle. So by using COVID-19 patient data from Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, so private experts have repackaged the data with adding geographic information infection path. So this data set is available on Kaggle for AI research. And there is also an app providing information and movement paths of confirmed patients of COVID-19. So this is a service that enables users to check the movement paths of the confirmed and displaying the information on the map. And now, let us look more into the role of public sector as enabler in promoting efficient public-private partnership, responding to crisis. So these are more of works that public sector, especially NIA and Ministry of Interior Safety, have implemented so far, and which enabled us to provide right open government data in right time. So first, Korea has established collaborating process within the government body. So since 2015, Korea has set 96 fields as a national core data, which are high demand, high value new industry, then release them via portal. So through this systematic process of data release has been established in Korea. And also, central government and ministries have human resources whose tasks are assigned to data only. And Korea has a very organized community of them, and they have built a very close networking system in online and offline as well. So organized community of government officials were a very highly effective way of communicating and collaborating in this unexpected crisis. And second, government of Korea is actively collaborating with our citizens and businesses as well. Since 2017, NIA has been operating Open Data Forum, which is a communication platform with our citizens. And since 2018, NIA has been implementing joint project for supporting business, where we support for people who want to start data-related businesses. And government of Korea is also exerting much efforts in creating open community for overall open data environment. And last, but definitely not the least, government of Korea has been supporting stable ICT infrastructure prepared for releasing and share of open government data. So through data portals, release open data in API format to enable immediate and convenient use. In addition, in the implementation of mask map services that I've mentioned before, inauguration and operation of consultative body of local cloud business named PASTA was very helpful in systematic realization. So that's all for my presentation, and thank you so much for listening.